say a blessed Wednesday morning to one and all. Welcome to the point. It's Thursday, the 4th day of September 2025. Still going to say one of the best months within the year. Reasons for saying that, I'll keep to myself for now. Let me say good morning to those of you via social media platforms. Good morning to you also. Hope all is well with you, whatever you're up to, whatever you're doing. Hope it's, of course, going in a positive direction, if I could say so. It's Thursday, and you're usually on to the point. We do hold various department within the RGPF. We were expecting the fire department to pop in with us this morning. I haven't seen anyone, of course, arrive as yet. Hopefully, they may be a bit late, but there was no communication if they ever drew or not. So, it's already a couple of minutes going on after the hour of 9 o'clock. So, I have to start the program off this morning. When they do get here, even though we may have to do a shorter version of the program, we certainly do so. I will send tendency to leave the option now for you listeners and viewers out there if you would like to call in 435-2041, 435-2041. And I'm assuming the traffic situation is a bit this morning. I myself, who is someone who tries to be here at least 30 minutes before the start of my program, got here at least about 10 minutes before 9 this morning due to the traffic situation. Yes. It's becoming a bit of a problem for me. Maybe others it may not be, but for me, I don't like being stuck in traffic for various reasons. And I've been in traffic for at least 45 minutes this morning. That's a no good situation at all. So the lines are open temporary until of course the representative from the fire department pops in on us this morning, and of course we'll have that conversation with them. Let's go to our first caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, morning, GT. And again, always a pleasure to talk with you and talk to your audience, your listeners and your viewers. Good morning to them also.
Good morning, and it's blessed to have you, man. Good morning.
Yeah, I was a little bit, let me say I was dissatisfied, but I'm continually dissatisfied with the way GBN and others present news, because to me it's just a recap. It's just repeating what the BBC, what the CNN and so on, and not what even if you have to use the material from them, because that's one of the main sources, one needs to tailor it. For instance, the thing about the American bombing up those folks, nobody asking any question. Is that actual? As some people, I was on some conversation overnight, and the question people were asking, is that a makeup thing with AI, or is it actually something that is staged? And all that thing, we presenting the thing as if it actually happened, rather than having question mark over it. I think we should, other people, when we take in things from other people, we should be skeptical. Whatever we being complicit with their own agenda, and this is what it seems as though. And I wouldn't be surprised if all this thing not calculated to generate consent. Oh, drugs, to kill them out. But what about due process? Are some people asking, do you just go and kill people like that? How they know that there were drugs in the stuff? There's a lot of questions we need to ask, and this is what I don't even hear. Even when folks presenting the BBC News and so on, and so we don't really question. Because a lot of those things are manufactured, and later on, remember the image they gave us about Russia and Ukraine. Look, Russia losing, Russia blah, 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 and now they're begging Russia to stop. Hello, we need to really, we can't do without those folks, they are part of the world and so on, but we need to be broader when we're looking at things. So I thought that I will raise this, and we need to question whether CARICOM have any value anymore. I heard also the foreign minister literally begging. You don't beg. We are a sovereign nation. In context. And we have to be able to decide. We can't be begging and saying, well, give us assurance and all this nonsense. We have to stand up in the community of nations internationally. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Appreciate your call. Folks, that's why we're going to take a short break. My guests are here, so which means I'm going to entertain them, get them settled in just a wee bit, and we'll be right back with the fire department from the RGPF. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch your dial.
And power steering pumps, engine bearings, pistons, and rings, CV joints, and shaft. It's quality services.
Are you ready to take charge of your money, build wealth, and protect your family's legacy? Then join us on October 9th, 2025 at Radisson Grenada Beach Resort for your Financial Future 2.0 Legacy, Literacy, and Liberation, a one-day financial summit designed to break cycles, build wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. You'll gain real-life budgeting hacks, a money mindset reboot, steps to create generational wealth, and practical tips on investing, estate planning, insurance, health, and business finance, all from expert speakers who know how to turn knowledge into action. With 2 inspirational keynotes, 3 powerful panel discussions, and 6 breakout sessions, you will leave with your personalized action plan for success. Don't wait. Secure your seat today. Tickets are EC $350 at disruptiveleadershipconference.com/YFF. Your Financial Future 2.0. Your next chapter starts here.
Grenlec Community Partnership Initiative.
On behalf of the Ministry of Carriacou and PT Martinique Affairs and Local Government, and by extension the Government of Grenada, we would like to say a heartfelt thank you to the Grenada Electricity Company, Grenlec, for coming on board with us to partner for the Build Back Better initiative by providing furnishings for the homes. And furnishings include beds, mattresses, and other things, and we want to say that it has positively impacted the residents of those homes who have already benefited, and for those who will benefit, we know that it will positively impact their lives as we work together to recover Carriacou and PT Martinique.
Grenlec, energizing our community.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to the Point Classic Radio GBN TV. And as promised, I have with us this morning, of course, members of the fire department with us this morning here on today's program. And of course, you guys give me your name already. I want to let you introduce yourselves once again. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners and the viewers this morning.
My name is Augustine Mitchell, Sergeant of Police, head of working at fire headquarters.
All right.
My name is Constable Antoine, member of the Royal Police Force attached to fire headquarters.
All right. So, gentlemen, welcome. There's a saying, better late than never at all, right? It's better late than never at all. So, our conversation this morning will practically roll out will along the lines of the role of the fire department, especially during emergencies. You know, sometimes we wonder why the fire department on the fire. We say, why they show up. You understand? In cases of that nature. So my question off the bat, I'm not sure which one of you is going to chime in and answer it. The role of the department, that the fire department per se, especially during an emergency, accidents and so forth may occur, and we see the fire department shows up. Someone will say, "Oh, there's not a fire taking place, but why is the fire department showing up on occasions of that nature?"
Okay. Well, our motto of the fire department is to save lives and protect properties. So in the event of accidents and other emergencies, the reason why we show up because there may be lives at stake, where we have to rescue persons trapped in vehicles, sometimes in houses that are collapsed. Yes. We respond to the scene for that purposes. So to retrieve lives, medical care also, we also do medical care. Right. So first aid, first responders, we do medical care while waiting person to carry to the hospital for the professional caring.
Okay, so as you mentioned, it's the fire department, but emergencies also plays a critical role in your overall performance of or your duties, per se.
Yes.
Emergency. So
Yes.
there's an accident. Fire may not occur, but someone may be in a position where they're trapped in a vehicle. The fire department will assist in probably getting that individual out.
Right.
Or depend on it varies in terms of your response.
So in our training, because we have training in as we say in first aid, we were able to know how to move person or to remove a person from a incident area without furthering their injuries. Most laymen on the scene will just get the person out. They don't understand. He might have a spinal injury, he might have a leg injury, he might have a foot injury, a neck injury. But because we are training that area also, not only in fire suppression, we train in that area also. We have the knowledge how to care for that person before carrying them or conveying them to the general hospital.
All right, and that is part of your overall training, dealing with emergencies of that nature also.
Yes.
All right. Now, from time to time, we're going to see that the department also plays a critical role in case there's a major disaster. Flooding, could be tropical depression or something of the sort. And we see the fire department. Tell us about the role that you play in that in particular.
Well, our role in that area is to get people into safe area. So before the actual disaster, there gonna be information disseminated to the nation what they should do in the event of a disaster.
All right.
Okay, so there are shelters, there are other places. So our responsibility is to let the persons or people know that there are areas or there are places for them to go in the event of a disaster, hurricane, tsunami, floods, and so forth. We let them know that there are areas they should go. So we give them the information. Well, information comes from NADMA.
Okay.
So our responsibility is to make sure that persons adhere to the information that is disseminated.
So let me get this correct. So you may know, after the information being disseminated from NADMA or whoever, of course, official source that chose all those information, now, is it the role that you go into communities and perform those duties in terms of getting folks to shelters and so forth? That's where that role comes in?
Well, yes.
See, as you mentioned,
yes.
The role is to get folks to go to the
so
shelter.
If after the actual disaster happens,
that's where
our responsibility now is to search, rescue.
Okay.
Right? So we also deal with search and rescue. So person may get trapped who not in the shelters.
Okay.
Person may feel they're comfortable home, they don't want to leave, they get trapped in the area. So our duty now is to go to search, rescue, to convey them to the convenient shelters.
So technically you're saying you're part of the recovery process then,
yes.
After disaster may have occurred.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, sometimes we always feel, it's left up to the police force in general. Some folks are, but that the spearheading of it always comes part of the fire department. Am I correct by saying that?
Well, it's not the police force in general, but there are some specialized departments within the police force that deals with like the fire department, Coast Guard, SSU, and all the specialized departments.
So it depends on the nature of the disaster.
Right.
The fire department fills it along with other departments.
Okay. So we pull the resources together and then we work from.
All right. No, I know that there's listeners and viewers out there who may be interested in getting those what you would like to recommend, especially from the fire department, as we're talking about the role of the firemen, especially during emergency. Now, let's talk about those general recommendations in events of emergency, what you really do, how the use of especially, fire extinguishers and so forth, how to perform, various functions, I would say also. Talk to me in relation to that. Folks may have a fire in their home, and not everyone may have that proper knowledge how to use a fire extinguisher. It's not always using that. You may just think, you just pull the pin and spray. It's not always the best way of using it. The option of knowing which is a proper fire extinguisher also, in case of there are fire extinguishers for different purposes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I only learned about that a couple of months ago. They have fire extinguishers for different purposes. Not everyone will own a particular fire. You understand? Talk to me, speak to me in terms of recommendation what folks should do in cases of that, in events of those nature.
Well, in terms of the different type of fire extinguishers, you have a A-class fire, you have B-class, C-class, and D-class, which is regularly used in the Caribbean.
Okay.
We have Class K also, which is kitchen fires and stuff. But in an A-class fire, the type of fire extinguisher you want to use, this is like combustible materials, such as wood, paper, and plastic and stuff. So you don't want to use water, CO2, H2O.
All right.
Sorry. And the B class, where it involves oil and gas fires and stuff, you would want to use foam.
Okay.
So the foam forms as a blanket over the fire, so it cuts off the oxygen, so it smothers the fire.
All right.
In a C-class fire, which is electrical appliances and electrical fires, you wouldn't want to use water, because water is a conductor of electricity. You would not want to use foam also. Foam is a liquid also. So the recommended class of extinguisher to use there, you could use an ABC dry powder or CO2. If it's electrical equipment like your computer and stuff, I recommend that you use, like we have like the internet servers and stuff, I would recommend CO2.
All right.
Because if there is a fire, the carbon dioxide, it blows out the fire. But if you use the ABC dry powder, when that agent comes out from the canister, it hardens. So sometimes you have to replace the entire piece of equipment. Or if you use the CO2, it blows out the fire and you can just replace the part. Basically. All right. And you have Class K or Class D fires, which are metals like factories and stuff. You want to use dry powder on those fires.
Now, for the benefit of listeners, especially those who are home and thinking, it's the recommendation. Maybe would you recommend for home users that for households, if I could say it that way, fire extinguishers in their home should be kept? Is it a form of recommendation from the fire department that every home should try to invest in a fire extinguisher, and the proper one too, especially when they go to make that purchase?
Right. Well, yes. Going forward, I find that things are getting modern.
Yeah.
So, as the technology grows, we should protect ourselves. So, I believe that everyone should have equipped their home with a fire extinguisher, the relevant one, especially in the kitchen. Also, you buy one that is multi-purpose. You can use on almost any fire. Which is the ABC. ABC. Yeah, dry powder. You can use on almost any fire. So this one will be more preferable to use at home.
What we normally see happens, persons use the garden hose in the event of fire. You see, they pull the garden hose and they spraying. They don't have an.
Can we always feel the water out fire?
Right. And what we fail to understand, the extinguisher should be used only in the small stage of the fire. Right? Not when the fire starts to go, because fire have at least 4 different stages. The inception stage, where you now start. So we advise person to use an extinguisher. The growth stage and so forth, you get out of the building. So some people wait until they reach the growth stage and they run outside, they get a garden hose, and then the whole building now engulfed in fire, and then they try to wet with a garden hose, and after now they call the fire department. Where they should do that when the fire now starts. And the danger in it, while you're using your garden hose, there is still electricity in the building. And the wire, the electrical line from the pole, even though you take off your breaker, the electrical line from the pole to your house still energized.
Be connected,
Right. So what happens? It may burn out, and you outside there using a garden hose, and that line is in that water, so you could get electrocuted. So we advise person get extinguishers, and you can use it only in the inception stage of the fire.
Another thing, so a lot of the persons, like in the initial stage of the fire, the persons don't attack the fire, they try to save the appliances and equipment in the house.
So I just buy my TV, I want to put it outside, right?
So they try to put it outside. And in that stage, the fire is growing. So then you would see a lot of persons with scotch and burns and stuff, because of they trying to save certain things in the house rather than trying to attack the fire to reach a mitigation stage, and then it comes where it grows so much that you hear them say, okay, the fire department always late. That's when we get a call. We cannot respond without a call.
Understand.
Yes.
Okay, you may be trying to put yourself out because calling the family may be the second thing you're thinking about. If I could put it in that, or even the third thing down the line, you're thinking about calling.
And if you're looking at a structural fire, like a wooden structure, you have just under an hour to be fully engulfed in flames. Where you have a concrete structure with 2 hours resistance. So that's the difference.
As we on that particular subject matter, what is the proper procedures that individuals should follow, just in case a fire occurs at their place of dwelling?
Right. In that case, proper procedures you should follow. Persons, if you see the fire, once you could fight it, you attack it.
Depending on the level it is.
And the level it is at. Right. If you cannot attack it, you move out and you call 911.
All right.
So you move to safety and you call 911, we respond, and the professionals come and do what they have to do.
Okay, good. All right. Once there's individuals in the home, you try to get everybody out.
Never try to get back inside of the building to save anything.
And another thing, if you don't know what is burning, do not try to fight the fire. Do not try to fight the fire. Right. It could be toxic stuff, nail that.
Interesting to know. Okay. We drew for a break. We're coming right back, folks. Stay with us, 445-2041. That's the number here for Classic Radio. Hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. On return, we continue more with the conversation here on To The Point. Stay with us. Don't touch it up.
Climate change.
Championship glory awaits as the world's greatest athletes are converging on the world's greatest platform in Tokyo, Japan. The likes of Kirani James, Anderson Peters, and Lyndon Victor. 3 titans ready to clash in the ultimate battle. Who will reign supreme? Will it be Kirani's speed, Anderson's precision, or Lyndon's power? It's the World Championships from Tokyo, Japan, from September 13th to the 21st. Follow the action live daily on GBN Television.
Coming up, all the major players were in town for Carifesta 15, along with the top entertainers, artists, and more. The essence and beauty of African culture on full display at emancipation celebrations in Trinidad and Tobago. Important for centuries, still attracting attention today. Welcome to Havana. It's all next on this station.
Sunday, November the 9th from 5 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Legends Promotion presents the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert featuring the best of Grenada, along with 2 special guest artists. This edition promises to be extra special. Get ready, Grenada, to be blown with surprises at the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert. Sunday, November the 9th, 5 p.m. Grenada Trade Center. Stay tuned to GBN for more. Stumps ready? The biggest party in sports is back. It's Republic Bank CPL 2025. Bowls off August 14th to September 21st. 34 matches, 6 teams, 6 nations. Your Caribbean cricket frenzy. From big sixes to deadly yorkers. Catch every boundary, every wicket, every moment. Live on GBN TV and Classic Radio. This is not just cricket. This is CPL 2025. Don't miss a ball.
Welcome back once again to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. With us this morning, we have the fire department, and our conversation is certainly based around the role of the fire department, especially during emergency. Before I get into my next round of questions, there's a question from someone via the WhatsApp who's asking this question. It kind of goes back to our previous conversation, and they're asking especially the use of fire extinguishers. Someone is asking that they've read that flour is an extinguisher for fire. Could officers, of course, answer that is true or not? Flour.
We could say yes, according to what is burning.
Yes.
Extinguishers are used based on what is burning. So if you're using flour, it may be like a liquid gas or something, or sand.
Yeah.
You want to chew on it to smother the fire. So what you're actually doing is shutting off the oxygen. But you have to remember, flour could ignite.
Okay. So it goes to the type of fires that you're having, or where the fires are actually located, or you try that as a form of protection.
Because flour could ignite. Flour could when in rigid in temperature, it could ignite, it could burn. Okay. So flour is not a suitable extinguisher agent.
All right.
Also, in going forward, persons can equip their home with a fire blanket also.
All right.
Yes. Which is crucial. You could get a fire blanket. Once you have a stove on fire, you pull, you cover the stove.
Just cover it off.
Yeah, and it shuts off the
once it cooks off the fire, then it doesn't go beyond that.
Yeah.
All right, great.
So
great.
Fire blanket is also.
My next similar question, there's always that option that folks need to follow, especially home users, business places, that, should I say, developing an evacuation plan. What should we do, just in case? I mean, it falls up on would be the question I asked before the break, but I was hoping we could expand on that first a wee bit. Developing an evacuation plan. What do we really do when a fire occurs? Not only in the homes, but the business places per se also. Because, panic steps in, and all of these things happens, especially when folks see fire. Someone sees smoke, and their whole attitude goes in a different direction, not following for the procedure. Tell us about developing an evacuation plan, especially for homes and businesses.
An evacuation plan is very important, especially for the home and the business. Yeah. The reason for that persons know what to do, where to go in the event of a fire or any disaster.
Okay.
So you know exactly what route to take and where you're going to go. So you conduct a risk assessment, so you know what is the risk in the building. So you look at it, then you put your person sit down, and then you let them know of the risk. Yes, and in the event of an emergency, then you know exactly what to do. Then you develop an evacuation plan. Okay. So you know your exit route.
Okay.
Right? Everybody don't go in different direction. So there is two doors. We go in. Okay, there's a disaster, so we just running through these two doors. No,
go to the left, lead you outside faster. So you use a left door.
And we employ persons to put up signs over the doors, so you know that is the exit in the case of an emergency. You establish proper communication. Okay. So you know there is an emergency. Somebody responsible for communicating, disseminating information, so you understand where to go, what to do in the event of an emergency. Assign responsibilities. So you may have number of persons in that company or in your home. So you assign persons with responsibilities. You're responsible for getting allotting persons to get out. You're responsible for taking them to the area of gathering, or we call it the muster point. Yes. You're responsible for it. So everybody have their responsibility when disasters strike. Okay? Yeah. Proper emergency supplies.
Okay.
Right, so persons may have an emergency, but you want to have proper emergency supplies. At the time of the emergency, you know that you have proper supplies and regular training. I'm going to say we're training again. You go to work on a Monday, and they say every Monday we have an evacuation drill. Or you're the home, and that is every Saturday, or every Saturday we having a drill. Yeah. What to do in the more you train, the more you do it, redundancy, it become better for you. You
become like a way of life.
Yes, right. You understand.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm. All right. And also, in terms of the business places, they should assign, like as we say, assign responsibilities. So you have persons, which is fire marshals. So whenever you have an emergency or the fire bell goes off, these persons are responsible for getting everybody out of the building.
Okay.
Yes, and also when they get them out of the building, when they reach the head count area, they have to do a head count to ensure that everybody are counted for. So they are the last persons, you would say, to leave the building.
All right.
Yes.
Sometimes folks may not always want that kind of responsibility. But it is good information especially for homes and businesses, to always have that plan. And as you said, constantly practicing it.
Yes.
At least they should at least once a month, maybe not every week or so, but at least once a month or so, always have those drills within the businesses, so they have an idea what this is what we do, so they know what, hey, this is the route that we will take just in case it happens. Sometimes it would not take if something can occur, and you have less or no time to do it.
Yes.
And before you start panicking and thinking, where should I go and where should I go, as employees of a business or family members in a home, this is the route that we take. That we take always.
Sign is very important.
Signage
is very important on the doors, because you may, especially if you're working in an area where you know if the electricity go off, it's gonna be dark. So you have illuminated signs on your door showing you exactly where to go in the event of a disaster emergency.
Or you could have those lights that when the power shuts off, it lights for about 5 minutes before it goes out.
So totally out here.
With some directional arrows and stuff. Or you could use those strips that's illuminates in the dark, so you could find your way with it.
And it's recommended for both home and businesses. Home and businesses.
Because what we don't want children, elderly persons to panic in the event of, especially in the homes, to panic in the event of disasters or emergencies. Children may tend to go below bed, below tables, and so forth. So if you're constantly training them and let them know, okay, this is what we do in the event, then they have an idea, okay, in case of emergency, even though daddy and mommy is not home, then they know exactly what to do, where to go in the event of an emergency.
All right. I want us to speak in relation to safety tips that we can give to our listeners and viewers this morning for various emergencies in the home, and things that they do's and don'ts also, especially in terms of, from time to time, we know fires occur because of electrical appliances left plugged on and all of these things at home. I want you to talk to our listeners and viewers in relation to that, things that they shouldn't do at all. And especially when leaving your house unattended for a lengthy period of time. Sometimes folks leave irons on, the fan is left on, we may feel that we want to see the time always working, so we leave that piece of gadget that just plugged on because of the time, and so forth. Talk to us in relation to that, some safety tips that folks should really pay attention to and do some don'ts, because these things from time to time, sometimes are the chief causes of fires, appliances especially being left on for a lengthy period of time. Where the home, the one that's in the home and home is unattended to.
The only thing you should leave on electrical wise in your home is your fridge.
Yeah.
Any other electrical equipment should be unplugged. Well, now people have cameras, so we know the camera.
All right.
You leave your camera on. But basic like your television, your fridge, your fans, your washing machine, all these equipment, microwave,
all of these things,
kettles should be turned off before you leave home. Also, we employing on persons the storage of certain chemicals, certain things they have, like you don't store bleach with close to gasoline and other things, because a lot of people now use weed eaters.
Yeah.
So persons buy gasoline and store it in those, okay? Even your gas cylinder, your 20 pound.
Yeah.
You see people sticking it below the cupboards. Okay, in case of a gas leak, no, it should be in an area with ventilation. If you look at the 100 pounds, it's outside.
It's always outside.
Right. So we encourage person to put in an area where you can vent, and not where it's locked up in the cupboard and it's heat and noise. Just so
most of the time they would leave it, the switch, whatever is left open for a period of time.
Person don't turn off the gas, they leave it on, when they come, they just strike the matches. So most person don't turn off the gas when they leave home. So if you have a gas leak, you know what takes place.
Another hazard we have, like with the overloading of the sockets.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't check our wattage. We just we buy a appliance and we just plug up.
Yeah.
Once you start functioning with everything, it trips the breaker. The normal thing we do as grenadiers or anybody, we push that breaker up again.
Yeah.
And we continue our day-to-day activity. But somewhere across the line, wires are getting hot.
Something is causing that overload.
Yeah, something is causing the overload. Yeah, it's too much, and we just push the breaker up and we continue. But the wires are getting hot, they're arcing, and then there goes our house fire.
Yeah,
electrical fire.
I would say a simple recommendation is to get professional assistance.
That's right.
When it comes to that.
Once you have that, you get the professional to check it to see.
Yeah.
If you
are capable of having numerous items on that because of the wattage and so forth.
Yeah, sometimes you may have a low amperage or something. It doesn't have enough to push whatever it is. And we always do that. We push this breaker back up and we start walking our day-to-day activity.
So somebody had mentioned at a time that they when they started off, they start off with a little 2x6.
Yeah.
And they built it, and they had the stove, they had the fridge and a television. Right? But as a thing, they get a washing machine now.
Yeah.
So they never change the wiring. Okay, they get a washing machine, never change. They get an electrical kettle, they never change the wiring. They put on now the internet, and they never change the wiring. So what did you add in load to a little simple breaker?
Yeah.
And you never really change your wiring. You never
the core of your wiring was or the grade of it is for a specific wattage of time.
You never get a professional electrician to come now to check and say, okay, if I could add in this equipment in my home, but you put it in and then expect you're gonna get an overload, expect you're gonna get a surge, your breaker gonna trip off at times, and it could cause fires.
All right, yeah. I mean, this is fruitful information that folks should pay attention to. We get into the stage where now that school has reopened.
Right.
Yes, the vacation period may have wrapped up, but sometimes children comes home. Parents are not there as yet. After school, parents are there, maybe who works up to 4 p.m. School wraps up at 2. Children gets home alone. What advice would you like to throw out for parents, especially those who are at home, who are at business places now, especially in the option where they are not at home, their youngsters going to be at home, the do's and don'ts that they should speak to their children in relation to that would not have them having to rush out from work and go to their homes thinking that a fire occurred because their sons or daughters played around with various apparatus that should not be played with and fire gets started. What would you like to mention to them in relation to that?
Well, we normally encourage parents that when you live in home, you put away all the lighting stuff, matches, lighters. You secure it in a place where you know the children cannot reach.
Okay.
Normally there is a sign on the box saying, put out of the reach of children. So children are supposed to reach this. Also, we want to encourage parents. If you know your children have gadgets like your tablets and so forth, do not give them or let them plug it in for themselves. You charge it before you go to work.
Yeah.
So when they come, you know their tablet are charged, and the day they want to take it, they want to use it. We don't encourage them to plug it in because they may plug it in the wrong socket. Yeah. And that could also cause fire.
Even electrocute themselves also.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another safety feature, they have those caps for the sockets and stuff.
Yes.
So maybe we should persons at the homes should invest in those. You get the caps to put over the sockets so the kids would not go and plug it. The chargers.
All right, great. We're moving up to make that 15 minutes before 10 o'clock, folks, and we're speaking with the fire department this morning, and we talked about the role of the fire department, especially during emergencies, and of course we covered a lot of areas already for the morning in relation to that. The next segment I will offer to our listeners and viewers out there, if you do have a question or two you may like to ask the officers, feel free to do so. Let's take that break, and when we come back, the lines will be open, 435-2041, both the WhatsApp and the direct line, 435-2041. After the break, stay with us. Don't touch it out.
Need to check your bill balance? Use the Grenlec mobile app. Open the Grenlec mobile app and tap the icon labeled Balances at the bottom of the screen. View your bill details, including your current bill balance, the due date by which you must settle your bill, the amount and date of the last payment you made. It's quick, easy, and available 24/7. Convenience at your fingertips.
championship glory awaits as the world's greatest athletes are converging on the world's greatest platform in Tokyo, Japan. The likes of Kirani James, Anderson Peters, and Lyndon Victor. 3 titans ready to clash in the ultimate battle. Who will reign supreme? Will it be Kirani's speed, Anderson's precision, or Lyndon's power? It's the World Championships from Tokyo, Japan, from September 13th to the 21st. Follow the action live daily on GBN Television.
On Sunday, November the 9th from 5 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center, Legends Promotion presents the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert featuring the best of Grenada, along with 2 special guest artists. This edition promises to be extra special. Get ready, Grenada, to be blown with surprises at the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Sunday, November the 9th, 5 p.m. Grenada Trade Center. Stay tuned to GBN for more.
Welcome back once again, listeners and viewers. I did mention before the break, this segment will give the opportunity to our listeners and viewers. If you have a question or two you may like to ask, I beg of you to be brief so we can accommodate as many callers as possible. So let's go to the phone line. We do have our first caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, good morning, your life. Welcome.
Yes, good morning. Thanks for having me. To the fire department, when a fire is reported, you have to know the location of the fire in order to get there. Now, in terms of the tongue, St. George's per se, if a fire is occurring there, I don't think there may be a problem finding out the location so you can get there in a timely fashion, because the streets are numbered and most of the buildings and so on, you may be familiar with it. When come to a fire in a more rural area, and that we frequently don't have labeled streets, and I'm not sure about how buildings been numbered. What can we do to facilitate you finding the location of the fire in a time?
Lost the caller there just a wee bit, but I think I have gist of where the caller. I guess you got a gist of where the caller's question was going.
What we normally does, we look for, we ask person to give us landmarks. Mm-hmm. So going to a village, we know that that building, we give us a landmark. So when we reach at the side, we know that we're close. Okay. We urge persons that you come off, so we know exactly that's the area. So you don't call and just stay inside or call it a fire, but you come out and give us an indication, give us a landmark so we know exactly where we are going. Mm-hmm. Because some of the rural areas are very difficult, especially vehicles parking by the road, obstruction with other roadside mechanics and so forth. So sometimes it's very difficult. You're wondering how we're going to access that area. So if we have a landmark, then we know we could get that area. Right. Yes. Also, I want to employ that the shortest route may not always be the safest route. Okay. Sometimes I think we take a little longer than we should, but sometimes the shortest route is going to take us more time. Plenty of obstruction, so we have to take the longer route. We will be safer for us, for the appliance, and for the community at home.
I mean, as we await the other calls to come in, what are some of the major concerns that you, the fire department, would like to bring to the fore, especially when it comes to fires occurring and so forth? What are some of those concerns you have? You mentioned of the obstruction and so forth. Proper information given out, especially from the individuals or the victims who may be having a fire. What are some of the other concerns that you have?
Persons not adhering to the emergency sirens and so forth. Mm-hmm. You hear a siren, you hear flash, you see flashing lights, but sometimes persons are very reluctant in moving off.
They want to compete
exactly.
With the truck and so forth.
Somebody may be going across a pedestrian crossing, they hear the siren, they will just take the time and stroll across the pedestrian crossing. You actually have to stop so that person could access across, or you actually have to stop because other persons are not giving way to the emergency vehicles, fire trucks, ambulance, whatever emergency we see it happens. So we're encouraging persons, when these things happen, give way. Pull to the side, let the emergency, because we will not bounce you down. But we need some, as I say, respect from the general motorists to let these vehicles move through,
because there's a priority.
Right, there is emergency.
Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, GT, and how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, sir. And good morning to our firemen. I did hear them give details as to whether you should have a fire plan for your home as well as your business. Now, I did in fact notice that they did not include probably places like your churches, your schools, and all these institutions that need necessary training in order for the occupants of these buildings to actually be able to vacate when there's a fire, and to have these places put a fire plan or fire drill in place so that persons can be safe also. So if they can just re-emphasize that so that persons can make sure that everyone is safe in the event of a fire. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And of course, thanks for your observations there also in terms of that. You want to respond to the caller?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, we normally in schools and well, for church, we consider churches and schools. We do a lot of work with the schools. So we do a lot of evacuation drill, we do a lot of fire training with the school, lectures with the schools, but not for say with the churches.
But the procedures are usually similar to what you would do to home and business.
Yes, you do the same thing with the schools and so. Although the children are, they are more difficult to deal with than business places and homes, but we work with them, and some of them we work very smoothly with a lot of them.
Okay, good. Yes. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, G, and good morning to the firemen having the station. Now, yesterday a friend called me from New York, and he said he stopped the fire at his workplace. And then the boss, put him in the office and tell him thanks and stuff like that. And he said he saved the company $3,000. Because if you call the fire service 3 times, and after that you have to pay for the year. Because you have necessary things in place to make sure the fire is ready. So in New York, if you call the fire service after 3 times for a particular place, you have to pay for this fire service. I don't know in this country if we have the same kind of stuff, I'm just saying that
Caller, I think we get a drift of he's trying to ask the question of what takes place in the US and so forth in terms of a particular fire happening and more than 3 times you call. Do we have that same procedure here in the Caribbean, or is it not something that we follow through to?
We don't have it.
We don't have that.
And if we have to introduce that, we have to go to the laws after.
Okay.
Just here to protect us.
But the thought of it is a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Person, good morning. I would like to know if a place is electrified, you wire and put up all the necessary things, how long before you should call the professional as a person did the wiring to rewire?
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Is it something you want to touch on?
Well, by law, it states that every 10 years you should revisit the rewiring at your home. So going forward, every 10 years you should check your electrician to have some checks done on your wires and stuff, because there's a lot of heat in those wires, and they could burn out over certain times, and even if the amount of equipment that you have plugged up. You never know, you might have something arcing out in a switch or something. So after every 10 years, you should revisit rewiring your building.
And if it's within your capacity, you can short the time.
Yes.
If it's affordable to you to have it done, you can do it every 5 years or so. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen. Fire department. You always use water from pipe and then pure water to go on the fire. Why you want to use pure water instead? Get a pump from somewhere and you have a tank somewhere pure from the river water and use it to go on old fire instead of using pure water. Because now there's a problem with water. You see water when it's short and a problem. Instead, maybe right now people complain that there is no fire station, no fire brigade up there. Why don't you put up a hydrant somewhere around the area there, inside the area? You have about 2,000 hose. Train some people in the area so you can get a fire to them, they could use inside before they come from Tongue or from Glen to within St. David's. In all the villages I find this up, even in Dabo. Have a hydrant up there, you have a 2,000 feet hose, train some people to use it, and one time come they use inside, if all can go up there, them go use it, In them area, we lack in, I think, vision for condition in any case, for some things in any case. We just know we live it. You must have people foresight and vision to do things in this time. So fire, I saw fire burn down telling how about that time. That the building is never burned down. Because the fire is started inside the building, you open the building and go inside and out the fire how about they say out and spray hose inside and cause the whole fire. Even coats are burned down. They tell the manager lock up coats will save. And after I was saying what coats burn down flat on the ground. We tell me which time ever out of fire, we save a building. Save a building from burning.
All right, caller. Thank you. Any response to the caller in terms of the comment?
Well, the first question in river water, we will not use river water in the fire plant because it's not treated water.
Okay.
Because some of the time we have to distribute water to various entities. Sometimes we go to villages and we remain the water of their plants. Some people want some water because there's a shortage. We give them. So we don't want to give them water that is not treated. So that's why we use the water in the.
All right. So mostly treated water.
Yes.
Fire trucks carry.
We carry treated water. Also, in regards to the buildings, our duty is basically yes, we go to suppress fires, but as much as we can protect the property from destruction, we'll try. But and remember, when we go to the scene of a fire, there are other buildings around, so we don't want that other buildings to get reignite or ignite. So we try to control the fire at a particular area. So controlling it and suppressing it. So it's not just going on wet fire, just show water. No. We control and then we look at the best possible way how we can get the fire, stop it from spreading to other buildings.
Okay.
So it happens sometimes when we check, based on the stage of the fire, all we got to do continue it in that area and let it go.
All right. We'll take our final caller for the morning. Caller, welcome.
Yes, another question. Now, the officer mentioned in Stoke that there are persons who, with vehicles hesitant to move. Isn't there a law that you charge these people and don't just let them get away with that kind of behavior? Thank you.
Thank you. Caller, respond to the caller.
Well, persons, yes, they could be charged, one, but we have to take into consideration if we proceeding to a emergency that that person may be on the right side of the on their side, the correct side of the road, a maneuvering. But all are we asking that you pull over, right, and you give way to the fire plans. Yes, it may happen, but sometimes person panics.
Yeah.
When they hear siren and horn, some people just stop and they don't know what to do. So charging a person, it may seem unfair doing that. but we just want person to to adhere and to be more focused on the road.
I mean,
in case of emergency.
The highest percentage of the time is not always something that is done deliberately.
No, it's because of panic. So
someone panic.
They don't know what to.
Just don't know to go left or right to ease that traffic.
So just stay focused and you hear a siren and you try to pull over.
All right.
Side,
let's take a final caller, and then we get some closing contribution. Caller, live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes. Good morning to you, GT, and the officers. Just would like to ask the officers if what they think about those stores in town that only have one exit and entrance, one door. Yes, in terms of fire, emergency, and so on and so on. And then a store owner in town pointed out to me, when we had that big fire by Postal Place on the side there, he pointed out to me that the town doesn't have enough fire hydrants. Do you agree? And if you agree, tell me if you will make any recommendation.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Respond to the caller.
Well, for the building with the one door, the fire department do not responsible for that. Our responsibility is to make sure that the owners of the building have proper evacuation drills and so forth. But you could take it up to the planning responsible for buildings and so forth. But our duty to make sure that persons in case of emergency they are safe. And we could do recommendation that this building need a exit or
but is it also part where the fire departments go around to the town? Does that ever happen? Go around to the town and speak to businesses in terms of the fire drills and so on, fire inspections and so on, their property and so on. Does that,
we do that.
Still happen?
Yes.
That from time to time?
So that's why I say when we go to this building, buildings, then we recommend that you should put have a exit door and so for sometimes we do inspections and that we do the recommendation.
But what is it when the recommendation is not followed through by the person? Is there penalties so that could occur? I mean, it sounds kind of jokeful, but sometimes it's important just in case, fires within that particular area occurs.
Basically, sometimes some of the buildings doesn't have anywhere to put another exit or anything. So I guess the ancient buildings are just 1 inch exit. But sometimes I've seen a number of buildings like they've knocked down and rebuilt. They should have
should know that these things are important to put and make sure they have fire exits and
stuff. Yes, that should happen.
All right. She had another part to the question.
I think I slipped on it also. But we get to that stage of the morning, officers, where we have to take a wrap. Anything in closing before we take a wrap for this morning?
Well, what I really want to close in my closing remarks, in the event of emergencies, disasters, and we like persons to get the relevant information from the correct source. We know NADMA is responsible for disseminating information. Do not want person to go to the Facebook and other gadgets and take information and disseminating it. So we want persons to get the relevant information from the correct source and adhere to the information. Most time I hear people doing a lot of the prank calls and prank information and all these things. We want person to cease from doing that because in the event of a real disaster and so forth, people may be very reluctant in adhering to the information that they're disseminating. So we're asking persons to cease from doing and wait for information from the credible source.
All right. Officers, I want to thank you once again for being on today's program. I want to thank you a lot. Thank you for this personal information that you did. And certainly hope our listeners and viewers, especially when it comes to making that proper evacuation plan and so forth for their homes, and it can certainly save themselves and the lives of others and even their property also.
Definitely.
Of course, make sure they call in a timely manner. Thank you both once again.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Hey, folks, as we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point, thanks to all listeners and viewers. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. That's what we say goodbye.